probably go straight into opening officials. Are you just going to go straight into elected?
Yes, because we do that first. We do that. Do you want to do the pledge and the prayer, or do you want to do the election first? It's up to you guys.
I just do the election first.
Okay.
I mean, what? Sorry, I need to stop saying my opinion because
That's fine. Just tell me when you guys are ready.
you're going to get your tape. Yeah, I think so.
We'll open the meeting of the commissioners for January the 10th, 2024. The first order of business is to elect a president for the county commissioners for 2024.
I nominate Joe Wiley as president.
I second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I nominate Bobby Plummer for vice president. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I abstain. You know.
You got everything now, Joe?
So now I'll turn the meeting over to Joe.
If you would please stand for the pledge and a short prayer.
Our Heavenly Father, as we come together for this government meeting, I pray that we are able to do the work of the people of Henry County so that we can serve in our capacity to the best of the citizens. Thank you for your opportunity to serve. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You want to switch seats?
Do you want to move to the second? Is that what you asked him? We'll move him afterward. Ask him if he wants to stay at stage.
Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the minutes of the last meeting? If so, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the claims? And if so, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve is presented. Sorry,
Second.
motion to approve is presented in my microphone.
Second.
Motion to approve the claims and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the payroll? And if so, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All three motions passed. The treasurer's monthly report, we have it here in file. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the monthly report from the treasurer's office?
Make a motion to approve is presented.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The clerk's monthly report has been received. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the clerk's monthly report?
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Motion has been approved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The next item on the agenda is the food and beverage claims. There's a Hope Initiative daycare grant for Hope Initiative for $35.20. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve this claim.
I just have a question. Joel, it's for cookies for a Christmas program. Is that an allowable food and beverage expense? It is. Okay. I think so. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, a second. It's their final draw. Okay, second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the $35.20 for the Hope Initiative. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. The second food and beverage claim is for the Little League. It's a M.L. Taylor Construction for $14,200, and I believe it was claim number 5 out of 6. Is that what we had?
Draw number 5.
Draw number 5. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. And Corey Murphy is next up. So do we have Penny standing in?
I think he's at a ready meeting, right? Yeah. So we'll
Thank-
get more information on that.
Thank you, Penny. Chamber of Commerce update. Seeing none, we now turn the meeting over to Josh Estel. Welcome, Josh.
Is your mic red?
Green.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, I wish I was here with better news. As the commissioners know, and also Joel, we got contacted by Travelers, who handles basically all of our property and casualty insurance except our workers' comp, a few weeks ago, letting us know that they wanted to cancel the policies mid-contract, which is somewhat unprecedented. It doesn't happen very often. I worked and elevated this to the point where I actually was on a phone call with the CEO of Travelers, believe it or not, which is about like getting the President of the United States on the phone. And this decision to cancel our policies 3/1, so March 1st, is going to stand. I obviously reached out to you and Joel and the Sheriff's Department in advance because we are in unequivocally the worst insurance market in the history of our country. And so placing insurance is difficult, and placing it in a short period of time is more difficult. So we didn't want to waste any time, even though there wasn't a commissioners meeting for a week or two in kind of getting started. As you know, Bobby, we had a meeting with Joel and you and I and John to give them a heads up that the crux of the cancellation surrounded a couple claims involving the sheriff and Travelers' perception as to what may be underlying in those issues. And so, not only do we need to let everybody know, we needed to begin the process of getting applications filled out for other carriers, which Josh has been fantastic helping gather that information, as have you. Obviously, you've spent a lot of time on it too. But it's super important that we try to put our best foot forward in the very best face on some of the things that have happened. And there's, less than 10 carriers in the state of Indiana that will write law enforcement liability, or a county. Probably less than 5 that would write all lines. So we are working diligently every day. I've had probably 10 phone calls with carriers, obviously meeting with you, Sheriff's Department, gathering this information, working with Joel on some other things, trying to put this together and try to make sure that we have coverage come March the 1st. So felt that it was appropriate to at least come in a public meeting and recognize what is going on so that everybody knows, and happy to answer any questions. As I will say, as it relates to the claims, because some of them are ongoing in litigation or other, like, if you ask questions about anything specific, we're not going to answer those. We can't. But happy to answer any questions about the process or anything along those lines.
I have a couple. The liability part, the entire county still has the insurance with the exception of, as of March 1st, the Sheriff's Department, correct?
Well, so Travelers the renewal is July 15th. My anticipation would be that Travelers would cancel the entire policy July 15th. The state law basically says that to cancel a policy midterm, there has to be material and unforeseen change in exposure with the insured. I mean, I don't want to get into that now. I mean, Joel and I are having conversations about that, and the merit of whether this really can be done. But the lines that they are claiming that they have changed, their reasoning for canceling was basically dramatic change in risk management procedures with the sheriff's department. So, I mean, even though I think they're on thin ice anyway, they're definitely not going to move on the lines like the property and equipment that are not really under the purview of that claim. So we're talking law enforcement liability, auto, and umbrella for the whole county. So, I mean, it's all together. It's
Auto for the whole county?
Yes.
Okay, I
So,
misunderstood that.
I mean, the reason that I don't think it really matters is because that line is not going to be hard to place. I mean, and we're probably going to find a carrier. My hope is to do all of this together, and we'll move it all anyway. So, I mean, that's the plan. I mean, the worst case scenario, I guess, would be that we find a standalone law enforcement liability market, and then we go find somebody else to do a standalone auto policy. That won't be a problem to do that. That's not the ideal scenario, and I think we have a better chance to get someone to look at this as a whole. I think we have a good case put together, and I've had good conversations with some carriers. As you know, we have a meeting Monday with a carrier that's coming to visit. We have another carrier. So, I mean, when you get to the point where they're willing to come out and visit, they're at least serious enough that they want to take a look at these things. But we certainly need to have everyone on board making Henry County look like a risk that an insurance company wants to take on.
So you're anticipating that July 15th, no matter what, Travelers probably will not renew?
Yeah, my hope
Is
is
that your anticipation?
my hope is we'll move the whole thing
We'll move- just
3-1
move
to
the whole
somebody
thing.
else, and
Okay.
we'll just cancel the Travelers altogether. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think this is going to do to our deductible range?
Well, I would say that the law enforcement deductible was likely to go up some in July. I would say in the short run that we will probably be looking at somewhat high. I mean, it would not surprise me if we have a $25,000 deductible right now in law. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't land at 100. I mean, but I don't definitively know that. I can just tell you that when we were with One Beacon, and One Beacon decided to pull out of law enforcement altogether as a company, we entertained the idea as an option of writing the law enforcement separate on its own and keeping everything with One Beacon. We also, obviously, at the time, went to Travelers and Liberty and all the other companies. The best at that time, 2 or 3 years ago, and I would say the law enforcement market has probably deteriorated since then. The lowest deductible, even in the market on a standalone law, was 100. So I'm just, as a frame of reference, like, I would be very surprised if we get a $25,000 law deductible. What I would say, and I think what I've already heard from carriers, is if we can get through this little storm and we have good experience for the next year or two, it's definitely not out of the question that we can't improve terms on the policy. And I hope we are fine 3-1. I mean, a couple of the carriers don't seem totally spooked by what they are seeing on the loss runs, but there's still quite a ways to go with visits and other things. I mean, I will tell you that if this was 3 years ago, I would probably retire, because if we had the old jail, we would probably have zero chance of placing this. So, I mean, that is a huge item that we don't have to overcome, is that right off the bat, like, new jail is, okay, let's check that box. We're past that kind of first hurdle. So we have some good things going for us. We just got to work through some of the challenges.
All the items that are under litigation now will still stay with Travelers, right?
That's correct. And, I mean, So the different, some of the lines of insurance we had are what's called occurrence forms. And the policy that's going to respond to that claim when it comes is the policy that was in force at the time of the occurrence, regardless of when it was brought. So like on the general liability, law enforcement liability, you know, something that happens today and the suit doesn't come for a year is still going to go back to Travelers. But like the public officials is what's called a claims made policy, and that is the policy that is in force at the time the claim is made is the one that responds. So it depends on what happens. Like Travelers, in theory, could a year from now be on the hook for claims that come in as long as the occurrence happened prior to 3/1. So depending on what happens, you know, we could get claims later in the year where some are Travelers, some are whoever the new carrier is.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you, Josh.
Josh, thank you.
Yeah, if you guys have other questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll continue to work with you and your team and hopefully get this out to market this week. So.
I should have all of my stuff completed by end of day today.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Say it again. I don't think this is the opportunity. I think what we've got right now is we're going to have to wait. I think.
Joel?
Honestly, I took a whole load of this, I think I should be able to respond.
Yeah, I would advise not to address any specific claims. That'd be my advice. Yeah, if you want to make some general comments, I think that's probably okay, but just try to avoid addressing any specific claim or threatened claim.
Yeah, no, I don't want to address any specific claims. I do want to talk about the liability has been something that I have talked about from the very first. Liability is a great concern of mine, and we have taken very serious steps to limit our liabilities. Starting with January the 1st of 2023, we eliminated special deputy powers to well over 60.
John, could you move the mic? They're saying they can't hear you.
Yep, sorry.
Please. And make sure it's turned on, that it's green.
It's green, yes, it's green. January 1st, 2023, we eliminated special deputy powers to over 50 individuals that had full police powers, full arrest powers 24/7 under the umbrella of the Henry County Sheriff's Office. They were simply, most of these people were utilizing these powers to work security jobs for their income. And that is a massive amount of liability that we eliminated right off the bat. That was not an easy, thing to do. We took a lot of heat over that. And we are getting ready to eliminate some more special deputy powers. I have a letter written that will be delivered today to the security officers at Henry County Hospital. I have no idea why that we give them full police powers when we have no control over their training or anything, and we're going to eliminate that. We've also greatly reduced the number of reserve officers. And so when you look at all of these, we've eliminated almost 100, you could say, officers that are, if they're to get into some kind of an issue, that's coming back on the county. So that's a huge reduction in the liability. I have talked much about vehicle liability, and we all know where that has gone. We have fully staffed the jail. The jail had ran about 7 to 8 full-time employees short, and why, I don't know. We fully staffed in January. We've been fully staffed since then. So that greatly reduces our liability, having 8 more full-time officers there. I just, I want people to understand that court notices can be filed all day long, and I'm not going to speak to any specific ones, You know, this could be a blessing in disguise, because one thing that I found right off the bat with travelers is they just want to write a check and settle. And that, in my opinion, and I've talked to the Sheriff's Association about it, we feel very strongly in this matter that that type of stuff, it increases the desire for people to file frivolous lawsuits. The first suit that I was named in, we wanted to settle. Oh, let's just settle. We hadn't even talked about it.
John?
Yeah.
Get into it specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I can appreciate where you're coming from, and I've had this conversation, parts of it with you, but what I understand with Josh's involvement and Joel's involvement, I don't want to cut you short, but I don't know that that we as a panel of 3 commissioners can do anything about it right now. But I appreciate your concern, and I understand that. I just know we have to allow some things to take
No,
place.
I get it. I'm fine on that. I wanted to say a couple other items that we are doing. We have paid a lot of money out of our own fund to hire a company called Lexipol to update our standard operating procedures, which some of them were operating on from late 80s and early 90s. So that's a big step in limiting liability. We've also increased our training hour requirements for all corrections office staff from the minimum of 80 hours, which it has been, to we require 110 hours now of training. So there are many things, and I'll leave it at this. There are many things that we are working diligently on to reduce liability. I am very cognizant of liability, and I just want you all to know that we are working in many, and I've got a list. I've got 50 items here. I won't take any more of your time, but I just want you all to know that we are working hard to reduce the liability for the county.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I just have a comment, and I appreciate what you're doing and to reduce that liability. But right now, from what I'm understanding from our carrier, is the special deputies weren't the problems. The cars really weren't as big an issue. The training, the staffing, and all the other stuff, my understanding is it's the tort claim stuff involving you directly. So the other stuff right now doesn't affect or hadn't affected the sheriff's department. It's basically solely on the actions or the responses to things that from you. So I guess I hope this helps. And I guess some of the things when you settle stuff, it's because it's cheaper than what it costs you in the long run. And this is county taxpayer money is what we're dealing with. So I guess I hope this works out, and you and Josh and Joel we can work something out and get a carrier that'll take care of us, because now the whole county's at risk of losing our insurance.
Right, because of my actions, because of tort claims that have been filed. And you know, you could file a tort claim if you wanted to. I mean, I want everybody to understand that these are claims that have been put out there. Mm-hmm. And they will have their due process, and it's amazing that you can be targeted.
It's the society we live in anymore.
It is, yes.
So,
Thank you, Sheriff. Next up, we have the Henry County Health Department, Angela Cox. And you have nothing for us. Is that correct, Angela? Thank you. Coroner's Office, Brian Clark. I don't see Brian. Highway Department, Braden Shore. Do you have any updates for us, Braden? What about that tree?
Tomorrow. Yep.
Big tree.
Joe's got something.
Joe?
back here, Dave. That's okay. That's all right.
I have two items this morning. First one, intersection of 500 South and 25 West. We went out and took, I've sent you the report.
Mm-hmm.
I've got copies.
I've got it printed on my desk. I just didn't bring it down.
Okay.
I've read it. I don't need a copy.
Okay. To go through it and summarize, of course, I had to go to the Indiana Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices and follow their requirements, okay? Some of the requirements included traffic volumes for the intersection. And the old rule of thumb, and it used to be in the manual, you don't make it a four-way unless it's at least a 60-40 split, is what they always used to say, all right? Well, it's outside that 60-40. In other words, there's more traffic on 25 West than there is 500 South, which is the other way to stop. So, yeah, so, and then the traffic signal criteria, and it doesn't meet that. There's not enough volume, of course. Crash history criteria, you got to have 5 accidents in a year that a four-way stop will take care of the problem, okay? In other words, right angle and such. So I looked it up, and I found in 23 there were 2 accidents. One was a failure to yield, and the other one was a backing accident. The guy backed up because he had a truck turning, and he backed into somebody. None in 22, none in 21, none in 20, none in 19. There was an accident in 18, which is a truck that was semi, had a failure to make the turn. Okay, went in the ditch. So, so it didn't meet the crash history requirements. Minimum volumes, it didn't meet the criteria for minimum volumes, even with the 103 closure. Sight distance or sight distance, adequate sight distance. So I would recommend not at this time to make 25 West and 500 South a four-way stop. But I think we should go back out after 103 is opened up and do another count and take another look at this to see what those volumes are, and especially at the intersection with 25 and 500. To see if it maybe gets a little closer on volumes on the 2 roads. So the speeds were a little surprising, I thought.
Yes, they were.
85th percentile speed, which is what you look at when you set a speed limit, was anywhere from 54.1 to 60.8. And it's not 85% of the maximum speed. It's, you have to count the vehicles, and it's the 85% vehicle. Its speed is what you set it to. Now, the maximum speed ranged from 82.2 to 89.8 miles per hour, which was kind of.
That was surprising to me when I read that. So maybe we need to have somebody down there doing traffic control.
Yeah, I mean,
when I read the 80
I
something
can
miles
get-
an hour, yeah.
I mean, if the sheriff's department wants, I can get actual time, hours, when that happened, when that occurred, if you want. So it gets it that close. So I can get it actually to 15 minutes. But if that would help, I can print that information out. So at this time, I would not make it a full one.
That doesn't meet
What
any
the
of the
book said.
criteria. Yep.
All right, so, but they are installing, I don't know if they've.
Oh, okay.
LED stop ahead signs are up on 25 West.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so hopefully that'll help bring attention to the stop. So that was the first item. Is there any questions about it? So the second item is it's January and it's time for community crossing matching grant funding applications. The maximum amount was changed from $1 million to $1.5 million. And I think that was because of Marion County and the surrounding donut counties wanted more money out of that. So I would like to apply for every bit of the $1.5 million, okay? I have two projects. One is the bridge on Garner Street, Bridge 126, just east of 3. The deck is bad. You can see by the patching we've done on it. Actually, the top layer of rebar has rusted so badly that the top 2 inches of the deck has separated from the remainder of the deck. So we have an 8-inch deck. Now, in essence, we have a 6-inch deck, okay? I'm surprised. I'm waiting to hear when they do some load ratings on the bridge. Our consultant that did the inspection, I'm going to be surprised if there's not a load limit put on that bridge, okay? The idea or the proposal is to replace the deck in its entirety and make it a jointless bridge. Keep the beams, steel beams that are currently there. The estimate to do that is $874,000 roughly, okay? So I want to use that for the first phase. Second phase of the community crossings, I want to use chip seal. I want to bid a contractor to do our chip seals. Now, why do you say that? I think we can get more money, more road miles covered with the chip seal than we can with the paving. Let our people, the highway, do the paving, and then let's convert that. And people are not, since the Indiana Department of Transportation now does their chip seals with what they call a fog seal. In other words, they come in at the end and they lay a light coat of liquid asphalt, okay? And it turns it black. It looks nice. It holds the aggregate in place, and it's a nice finished product. We do not do that, and we're hearing about it. This bid will do that. We will require a fog seal per the state spec on all the roads that they chip seal. So hopefully that problem goes away. All right, and instead of taking us a month, 2 months to do the chip seal program, they're saying they can do this in 2 to 3 weeks. They bring in two distributors, I think five trucks or more, but it's continuous. They don't stop. So, and I do have Milestone interested in also bidding. This is the contractor out of Illinois. But Milestone used to do a lot of chip seal work. When I started in Hancock years ago, back in '86, they were doing all their chip seals. And they'd done it for years.
Do you have an idea of what the cost would be? Do you have an idea what the cost would be?
No, I'm putting the
Yeah,
numbers
put it out to-
together
put-
now.
okay.
But I'm gonna request whatever's left in community crossings to that $1.5 million. I want to get as much as I can. So what I need today is approval to submit that application, and 2, I'll need a financial commitment letter. So I need the president of the board to be able to sign that letter to submit with our application. And I'll have that ready here in a couple of weeks.
I'll make the motion to allow you to move forward with the community.
Motion's
crossings.
been made and
Second.
motion been made and seconded to participate in the community crossings program where we can submit our signature to financially back the program. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0.
Thank you. There is one other thing I wanted to let you know, that bridge on Garner Street, NDOT has a project on 38 on Broad Street coming up. And it was originally supposed to be this year, all right? Well, I told them we want to do that bridge this year, so they've moved it back. Now, the state map still shows it third quarter of this year. So we need to hurry up and get that bridge done, because we don't want to be shutting Garner Street and Broad Street together because of access to the hospital, in my opinion.
I would agree.
So we need to, if we get approval, we need to get moving quickly so we can get that thing under construction. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Steve Rust. Nope. Tom Green. Sheriff Sproles has already spoken. Debbie Walker, the Auditor's Office, do you have anything? Jenny Grubbs?
She's not here.
Okay. And we have no one here from Memorial Park. Jody Brown, I'm just reading down through here. Lisa. And Weights and Measures, Gabe. We don't have anything. Butch and/or Brian? We're good? Both of you are good? Good. Okay,
He walked out.
he's good. And then Henry County Emergency Medical Services, Mandy, you good? Bill Upchurch? I'm good. You don't have any advice? Not today. Okay, thank you. Scott Hines, Tim Welsh. We're ready, Tim, for the hour of darkness.
Minutes of darkness. Well, I just wanted to publicly say thanks to Angela and Corey. Last night we had a solar eclipse meeting in here, and I thought it went over very well. We had quite a few folks here, and they had...
I'd say we had about 40.
Yeah, I'd say.
Easy 40.
Yeah, 40 or 50, and a lot of good questions. And like I said, they did most of the preparation. I just want to say thanks, especially to Angela. She kind of moderated the whole thing with excitement, by
She
the way.
did.
So thank you for that, Angela. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, not to roll over that too quickly, but like I said, that was great. But I'm working on some task force information, and of course, that will involve money, so I'll discuss that this afternoon with the county council. But I just want to say, again, publicly, thank you to those guys last night. And the solar eclipse is coming April 8th, so excited about
It is
that.
coming April the 8th,
Yes, yes. Any questions?
whether we want it to come or not.
Yes, it's going to be dark. You can close your eyes and practice right now.
And what did, Angela, was it you that said last night the safest place to watch the solar eclipse is?
On television, that's right.
So,
Thank you. Susan Lightfoot is not here. Okay.
if you want me to talk about the ubiquity, I will.
The network management?
Yes.
Yes, our next item, well, I'm going to have Bobby cover this one.
So currently, and Brian, if I'm saying it incorrectly, you can correct me. Currently, Nine Star is doing some of the management with the ubiquity pieces, and we can save $105 a month if we go ahead and purchase it and manage it ourselves. So Jeff got a quote for it, and it's $420.99. So it'll only take us a few months to recoup our savings of $105 of what we're paying. So with
And
that,
well, it's my understanding that that was going to double
oh yeah, the price
this
was going to
coming year
increase, yes,
to
possibly.
possibly 800 or something a month.
Yeah. Yeah. It would probably double. I think it's coming up next year, so. Right.
There are a few versions behind, and we have limitations of what we can do because NSTAR has updated
Their platform, right. So I will make the motion to approve the purchase of the Ubiquity Unified Dream Machine Pro.
Motion's been made. Is there a
Second.
second? And there's a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Brian. Even though Butch wasn't here. Thank you, Butch, for coming back in. The next one, next item is the Seraphin slip-on calibration unit. Bobby, do you have any?
Yes, so this is for weights and measures. This will allow him to do the things that he does better with truck stops and other places. It'll make his, and it's actually part of the, right now he has to carry everything. But this will help him in providing the services that he provides to the county for weights and measures.
Honestly, we actually approved this with ARP
Yeah,
money.
with ARP money a
Yes.
couple months ago. But it is $39,413. So I will make the motion to approve this quote.
Motion's been made to approve the
Second.
second has been received. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And that's for the Serapin, grand total of $39,413.
You lost your tape.
We had the 25W500 South. We've already gone over that for the commissioners' meeting schedule for this year. So we have the commissioners' meeting schedule.
Yeah, my tongue's not working today. So we just need to approve when we're going to meet. I make the motion that we stay at 11 o'clock on the second Wednesday and 6 o'clock on the fourth Wednesday of the month.
I will second that.
Motion's been made and seconded that the commissioners' meetings will be held on the second Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. in this courtroom, and also on the fourth Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. in this courtroom. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. The liaison positions that we have listed here, do I need to read these?
I don't think you need to read them out loud.
Okay.
I think you can just say you have a list of,
We have a list of liaison positions for the three commissioners, and they're available for anyone that's interested in looking at them.
I'll make the motion to approve the liaison positions.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the liaison positions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. We have a list of bonds. We have a list bonds for Lisa Lovelace, Henry County Recorder, John Sproles, Henry County Sheriff. Also one for the Henry County Sheriff's Department, Susan Van Hoy, Knightstown, Wayne Township Fire Department Clerk, Susan Van Hoy, Wayne Township Trustee, and Jody Brown, Henry County Assessor.
I have one more that was brought in right before we came in, and I need it for the annual financial report. It's Brian Clark's for coroner.
Brian Clark for coroner would be an additional bond.
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve all the bonds as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the bonds as they have been presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. What do you have next on the agenda?
That's it.
Any comments from the public?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion's adjourned. Thank you.